gentlemen, the champ is here, the champ is here, the champ is here. You took a long man to the end. The champ is here, the champ is here.
You are tuned in to G5 Jeff TV. We are in the building. Big shout out to the team, my little bro VP Shane, the general BoxingFirst Vlog, aka Blunt Bayless. If you're new to the channel, definitely subscribe, like the video, share the video. Now, one of the biggest topics going on right now in the sport is the pay-per-view numbers for Gervonta Tank Davis and Mario Barrios. Now, the numbers came in, look like it's going to be around 200 to 215,000 pay-per-view buys. Is that a good number? Now, my answer is going to be spread it out a little bit, but I'm going to definitely get down to the point. Anybody that's looking at that number and they're trying to compare it to the back in the Floyd Mayweather days and those types of numbers, just the landscape is different. The era is different. Streaming is a much bigger factor now than it was when Floyd was doing 1 million, 1.5, things like that. So you can't compare these numbers to Floyd type numbers. You can even take a more recent pay-per-view guy in Errol Spence, and he's doing like 3 and some change, 400,000 pay-per-view buys. And the setup for Errol Spence is perfect. The opponent name is pretty good. The fact that it's in Texas, he has the Dallas Cowboy Connect and things like that. Like, how I judge an actual pay-per-view is not only the numbers, but does it feel like an event? Does it feel like the who's who of the sports world is going to stop what they're doing to either go to the event or actually order the actual pay-per-view? So with Spence, you do get that feel. With Tank, you got that feel. Like in Atlanta, it was packed house. The who's who in Atlanta was in the building to see Tank Davis, and that's how I really judge it. So for me personally, is 200,000 to 215,000 a good number for Mario Barrios? For me, I would say yes. It's a pretty good building block. It's not an end game or anything like that, but for an opponent that nobody really knows, for him to do 200 plus, that's commendable. Like, that's commendable. And we're in an era where you have one side of the street that's doing pay-per-views, the other side of the street is basically doing subscriptions like DAZN. So just the landscape is just completely different. Bottom line, how I look at it, is Tank Davis one of the top 6 or 7 guys that you would go to see? The answer is yes, because he's one of the most dynamic offensive fighters in the game. Number 2, he's African American. He's tapped in with the hip hop community, and that has a lot to do with a fighter's popularity and success. He's linked with Floyd Mayweather, so he has a lot of things going for himself. Whole lot of things going on for himself. And then inside the ring, he has just enough flaws for you to really be interested to see what's going to happen with him inside of the ring. So it's a great combination with Tank Davis. He brings the excitement. And another thing with Tank is his power is crazy. You see the power carried up to 140. He just got different type of power, and he can turn your electricity off at any time. He can turn it off at any time. And when you have a guy like that, I mean, it's must-see TV. And then he just, like, Tank looked like a badass kid. Like, he looked like a badass kid. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just appealing from on all levels with Tank Davis. And I don't think people should really dissect the actual number too much. 200 to 215,000, that's cool. Now, going forward, Floyd Mayweather came out and said that Tank Davis is only going to be doing in-house fights. Now, I'm going to get into that in another video, but just to briefly speak on that, they can't expect for Tank numbers to go up in terms of pay-per-view buys, if it's only going to be in-house fights. There's only maybe 4, possibly 5 guys that Tank could fight that is in-house that would garner any type of attention from the general public, and it would be more so with a hardcore public than a general public. So if it's all in-house fights, all in-house pay-per-views with Tank Davis, then 200 to 250,000 pay-per-view buys is going to be the cap. That's going to be the max for Tank Davis. So I know Floyd said it's going to be all in-house fights. To be honest with you, he was just vocal about it. All promoters want in-house fights because they want the entire pot in-house. And the way I explain this to casual fans and people that are just not familiar with the sport of boxing, you know, having an in-house fight is kind of like you having a dinner inside of your household and only your family is at the table eating. You know what I'm saying? Like, but if you don't do an in-house fight, it's almost like you're having that same dinner inside of your house, but you letting the neighbor across the street come over and eat just as much food as the people inside of your house. That's kind of the easiest way to break it down. So nobody wants to do that from a business perspective and just breaking bread. So it's easy to say, okay, well, I don't want to see an in-house fight. Let's branch out, things like that. The business of boxing is so difficult that the fights that we really want to see are very hard to make from a business standpoint because there's too many hands in the pot. You know, you got the promoter, you got the fighters, you got the managers, you got the camps, then you have the networks. Like it's a lot that goes on within the business of boxing that a lot of people don't understand, don't try to understand, and if you try to understand it, it's confusing. It's very, very confusing to understand. So it's kind of hard to have discussions about, you know, Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia, or Tank Davis and Devin Haney, or Tank Davis and Teofimo Lopez, or Tank Davis and Josh Taylor. The fights that we really want to see are all fights that are not in-house. So is Floyd Mayweather really gonna put Tank out there like that? And according to what Floyd Mayweather said, and I thought this before Floyd Mayweather even said it, Tank is not going to be put in a position of where he's going to be fighting those killers. And I'm not saying Tank can't win those fights. I think he would have a legit shot at all those guys because he has that equalizer where he can turn your electricity off. But is Floyd going to put Tank Davis in that type of harm's way? I just don't see it happening. But to Floyd's credit, at least he's just being dead honest about it and being open about it. No secrecy with him. Like, he just came right out in front of the camera and said it. I mean, it's disappointing to us boxing fans because we want to see Tank in the best fights possible, but this is another situation where boxing business overtakes, you know, the boxing fans' wants and needs. But hopefully things will change. Hopefully things come out different. Hopefully Floyd will have a change of heart and let Tank really test himself against some of the top guys at 135 and 140 pounds. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. G5 Jeff TV. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Please share this video. Support your boy. Support good content at all times. I appreciate y'all. Peace.